yeah, that's pretty much it. So handle sign up, as you can see, it will get all of these elements, check that the passwords are valid, they match together, and it will call this sign up method right here. And this is actually something we will be implementing. So if you open up the auth.js file, you will see that there's multiple methods that are commented out in here, and this is actually the core of Firebase auth that we'll be looking at. So the method that we were calling previously is sign up, and we are passing email and password in here. I'm just gonna go forward and uncomment this line, and I think this is beautiful. The reason I think that is because Firebase provides you with a very clear way to create your users. It's only one call, so Firebase auth is the object that you'll see it's being used in all of these methods. And here you go, create user with email and password. Like, I don't know, as simple as it gets. Like, you just pass email and password, here you go. Don't need to do any, I don't know, you need to submit anything, just one call and that's it. You will note that here's our async await flow that I was talking in the slides about. And when we are waiting for our Firebase auth object to respond, we don't want to close our model until this succeeds. So we'll try to do that in case there's any errors. We will populate our errors p tag, and you'll see how that works when I demo this. But yeah, that's basically sign up should actually work now. So before I test this out, you would need to go back to the authentication tab. And I'm gonna go to the sign in method tab. So initially everything will be disabled for you, and I disabled everything for our production website right now as well, just for the demo purposes. I will enable email and password sign in. So we got that functionality. So you just need to click the top enable check mark. If you want some passwordless sign in, you can experiment with this. We won't go too deep into that. But yeah, I'm just gonna click save here, and you should see that this is enabled. So I think if we go back to our website, and this is an important thing. So we changed auth.js, as you will note. So we uncommented this line. Sometimes your web browser will cache JavaScript files and not update them, even though you updated the code in your editor. To avoid that, something you would need to do is clear the cache, and that's what I was talking about in the slides as well. So I'm on a Mac system, and the shortcut for Chrome is to update the cache is Command-Shift-R. If you just do Command-R, it's going to update the window, but Command-Shift-R also clears the cache. If you're on a Windows system, it's going to be Control-Shift-R. Another way to do this is also to go to your console view and then right-click your reload button. This will show you different reload options, and we want to do hard reload to refresh all the JavaScript. And I just recommend that you have this in the back of your brain and always Command-Shift-R if you want to refresh your page. So let's try and do this. So log in, I'm gonna provide, this doesn't need to be a real email unless you actually want to test this out with your own email. I'm gonna type in like a short password. If I type in not matching passwords, you will see that we get our error that we are providing, passwords do not match. And this is expected because that's exactly the error we are throwing in here. In case they do match, you'll see that this is happening a little bit longer. So this is actually an error that Firebase provided for you. And I think this is pretty awesome because it tells you that the password should be at least 6 characters, and this is like internal backend validation that Firebase has. If you don't like this message, you can totally customize this. So I'm gonna go and just show I'm going to jump a little bit ahead and then comment another method just to show how error handling works. So actually, the next thing we're going to do is sign out. So I'm going to uncomment this real quick. You can see that this is wrapped into a try-catch block. And the error that is being thrown, in this case, it's the short password error. It would have a unique code assigned to it. So if you want to provide a different message, you can totally do this. You can write an if statement with this error code. Some messages are very, very convenient with Firebase. Some of them are quite ugly and could be confusing to the end user. So that's actually another improvement that you could do to our website, and I encourage you to experiment with this. But yeah, let's say everything is good. So I'm going to provide a 6-character password to this email. We're gonna let's actually make this obvious. And here you go. So change your password. The password. So this is Chrome just telling us that our password is probably weak because I've entered something like 123123. You will see that we printed a user instance in the console. And let me just quickly show where this is coming from. So app.js, you will notice that after initializing our app and also initializing analytics, since we want to include that as well, we will do this interesting line 21. So Firebase auth has a very convenient method for you to listen to any auth state changes. If the user was signed in or signed out, this method will be called, and it will call whatever handler you want to provide. Interesting side effect, this is also being called on page reload. So no need to call your handlers on reload of the page as well. This will be automatically called for you. Let's look at the display profile UI method and what this does. So you will straight away notice that here's our console log, and actually that corresponds directly to what we see in here. It will also go and fetch the login, logout button from the navigation and toggle their hidden states. So you will notice that we now see a profile button in here. So this is like some built-in logic that we already included for you. So you don't need to code anything yourself. But here you go. So we have this user instance that Firebase spit out back to us. And this is, apart from having a lot of confusing characters and things like that, you will notice that it has phone number that you can get, photo URL that you can get. Obviously, I only provided email and a password, so the only useful information is probably the email that we can fetch from this. But if we go back to our console, go to the users tab, you should see that here's our new user. So this table will show you which provider this new user was using to sign in, and it shows the email since I used email and passwords. Here's your UUID if you user ID if you want to use that, and it also shows you when it was created and signed in for the first time. I think this is pretty awesome. So you can just track your users like that. Next session, we will actually store some extra information other than provided in this table in Cloud Firestore, but that's for the next event. And yeah, if you go to the profile page right here, we will also see that there's some logic that's fetching user information and showing the profile page. This, to be honest, this looks ugly. We didn't spend too much time on this. We have some placeholder image. Obviously, we did not provide any when we were registering, so don't expect to see that. Email is not verified. Verification of the email, I'll go a little bit, I will go into that a little bit later. And you will see that there is a logout button. So this is the logic that is working. If we have an authenticated user, we will show that logout button. Since I already showed this method, sign out method, it is the one that is being called when we click logout. So I'm going to go and just to make sure everything works fine, I'm going to hard reload this page. And I'm going to click logout. And you can see that this worked because now we see the login button again. Our user is null since we logged out, so the new user is null. And if we click on login, we get back to this model, again. So this is a very nice flow. I think it's like basically two main lines of code: Firebase auth sign out, and Firebase auth create user with email and password, and that's pretty much all you need to do to handle your authentication in your app.